Well, it's a pleasure to be here with you tonight. This makes our 39th time back to Caldwell County. And most of you I know by your first name, and if I don't, I promise that I will do my best to make sure that I know it before I get out of here tonight. But one of the things I shared when I got here back in September is that what we need to make sure of is that we have a congressman who will represent the district, the entire district, and make sure that those counties that are on the fringe are not forgotten, because sometimes they can be, especially with this new district. This is 3 hours from my house, and yet what we see is, and some of you know where I live, there's not a straight road between my house and here, but as we look at it, one of the things that we need to make sure of is that as we represent the people of this district, that we stand for certain principles. I stand for life, liberty, and less government. I'm unapologetically pro-life. I believe that marriage is between one man and one woman, period. I stand for liberty, which means that we need to protect our Constitution. We need to make sure that we don't allow liberal judges to interpret the Constitution, make the laws, because that's Congress's job. We need to make sure that we protect our Second Amendment rights and that we stand up for that. We also need to make sure that we honor our veterans and our commitments to our veterans who have served us well to defend freedom. As we go on, less government means a couple of different things. We need to cut back on regulations. Ensure the regulations that we have are strangling businesses and they're sending them overseas. Why do businesses go over there? They can make more money and they don't have to deal with the regulations that our government's put on them. And so we need to make sure that we cut back those regulations. We also need to look at limiting the wasteful spending that we do. Why do we give foreign aid to China when we borrow money from them? It just doesn't make any sense. And so as we look at this, we need to make wise business decisions. I'm a conservative Christian businessman that believes we need to take a business approach to Washington, D.C. As we look at this, it's going to be painful. You know, some people have said, you know, when inflation was double digits, when we had gas lines, and many of you remember gas lines, right? You had an odd tag, you got to get in line on the odd days, even you got to get in line, and we couldn't even find gas. And he said our best days are behind us. And Ronald Reagan came in and said that is phooey. And many people are saying today that our best days are behind us, and I'm here to say phooey. They're not. We need to take back our country. We need to make the sacrifices that are important. But more importantly, we need to stand up as a people and do that. I want to share a story with you. It's the story of a horse and a rider on the back of the Delaware Quarter.
1 minute.
And that Delaware Quarter, many people thought was Paul Revere. It was actually a guy by the name of Caesar Rodney. Caesar Rodney was from Delaware, and when we were looking at the founding of our nation, he rode through the night all the way to Philadelphia to be the final signing to make sure that the birth of our nation happened. Why was that important? Because what Caesar Rodney had was a green scarf across his face that covered a cancer. And the only place that cancer could be operated on was back in England. So he was signing his death warrant. And what he was doing is making sure that we had a nation, and he was willing to sacrifice, and we need to sacrifice as a people. We have a nation that is too glorious to give up on, a history that is too precious to forget, a constitution that is too noble to be rewritten, and a God who still reigns over the affairs of this nation. And we still have a people who are willing to stand up and take back our country for our sake and for the sake of our loved ones and children. Thank you. God bless. My name's Mark Meadows. I look for your support.